Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. I'm not going to talk about ratings and reviews. I'm not going to talk about social media. I'm not going to talk about emailing. I'm not going to talk about our Tumblr. Instead, what I'd like to do is say thank you. Thank you, dear readers, for staying with our funny little show. What we like about actual play podcasts is the sense of settling in at a table with a group of friends for a gaming session and letting your imagination fill in the detail. And that is what inspired us to start recording our sessions and sticking them up here on the internet. So the fact that we have you, dear reader, joining in each week is what makes the whole thing worthwhile. That's it. That's all I have. So why don't you take your usual seat at the grand table of the hilltop, make yourself comfortable, close your eyes, not if you're driving, and let's push on together with episode 114 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Research for the Hero.
Right, guys, what should we do? Because my next move is to come back.
Yeah, I think you come back and we venture forward.
Yep.
I'm kind of wondering
like
what's in these rooms, though. Maybe we should clear out the rooms.
I don't know.
Why don't we clear out the western atrium?
We can go in there from the stairs, can't we, and check it out?
Yeah. Try and stop it running away or alerting the others. Just all pile into it. Hopefully something's there. Well, hopefully singular.
Well, again, Allessandra can check it out on their way back, can't she? And then then the southern room we just attack en masse. You don't need to open the doors. You can go outside and go down the stairs from the outside.
Why don't you put the wall of force across the doors?
Which doors?
Southern or northern.
For what reason?
Well, we're just isolating them. So put them across the north. Oh, no, it won't stop the angels, will it? But across the southern ones, the hinge head couldn't get out. So
it's a concentration. So I don't want to
just doing other things.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So, Allessandra, do you want to check out the other atrium before you come back up?
Good evening, everybody. I am here with Paul and Lucas and Johnny and Graham and Dan. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Evening.
Where we left things, Dan did a brilliant recap last week.
Shall I do another one?
Yeah, go on.
No. I think we should roll. We should go back to our system of rolling. I'm going to roll a D4. 1 is Graham, 2 is Lucas, 3 is Paul, 4 is Johnny.
I'm not even on the dice. I'm not even on the dice. Brilliant.
Me? You did last week's. That's the point.
Oh, it's not in perpetuity then. I thought I'd basically done such a bad job.
Okay,
you'd never.
I'll try and rack my brains.
Yes.
So
where have we got?
How many brains do you have?
Well, I've only got half a brain now, 6 intelligence. So we started off at the top of the ziggurat after having fled the creatures in the main room inside the ziggurat. There was the beholder and the monkeys watching us, and we were worried that we wouldn't be able to do a long rest. So we crept back down to the top of the stairs in the main hall of welcome. Unfortunately, one of the angels saw us, so we pegged it back up and decided to hide at the top of the ziggurat. But then the beholder, having spotted Allessandra, shouted out a deal, which was, we've got to collect 3 paintings, works of art, and if we can deliver them to the beholder, it will let us go. We also thought about using a scroll that Sessions, remember, he had, which could teleport us back to Marcus Doombringer. Then Allessandra went exploring back. After a long rest, Allessandra went exploring back down into the Hall of Welcome. Looking around, it's all very quiet. The doors are shut to the south, the west, and the east. The door to the north with the angels is open, but no sign of them. Then Allessandra, flying around, quiet, went down into the central pit, and then I sort of dozed off.
I was just to absolute silence from the rest of us. That was really good.
I was falling asleep.
Right,
yeah,
Dan,
good memory.
That was really good.
Oh, shut up.
That was how you do it. Apart from the fact you fell asleep. Paul, tell us what you experienced while Johnny was asleep at the end of last week. It was quite late.
I flew down and down and down very quietly and got to the top of a enormous cavern with a little aperture in the ceiling, and 60 foot below me,
very large cavern. Yeah,
very large cavern where lots of kind of corridors and rooms and walls had collapsed, but there were pillars, effectively, but pillars that coming out of the ground here and there,
Yes.
but actually on the ground.
Islands.
But actually on the floor of this enormous cavern were untold thousands of worms, of kiosks, of variety of sizes. And that is where we left it.
So it's an underground lake of Chios worms.
Yes, that's
Basically,
a breeding. Pretty good way of saying it, yes.
With some openings at the edges of the cavern that look like they open onto engineered, manufactured tunneling as opposed to caverns. There's obviously some kind of something down there, something created, something constructed. Well, we might as well pick up with Allessandra. Allessandra, you are flying a level with the base of the pit.
Yep. Alessandra's gonna... now then, choice. Go on alone or return to investigate the western atrium. I think I'm going to go back up, exit out of the eastern atrium, fly around the ziggurat, fly down the stairs into the western atrium to see what's going on there.
Well, it's empty.
It is empty. All right, and then...
But the doors are closed, so you can get into that western atrium and only get up to the door. I mean,
Yeah. All right, then I'm going to fly back around into the eastern atrium. Going to hit...
Yes.
Go down to the southern doors, and I'd like to do a perception check to listen to see if I can hear anything inside there.
Roll away.
Oh, natural 20 for a 28.
Hello. Wow. Can't hear anything.
Can't hear anything.
No sound at all.
Okay, I'm going to go back up to where everybody else is hiding, tell them exactly what I saw. And then we need to make a decision about what we're going to do. Are we going to go... Ooh. Sorry, what I didn't do was poke my head into the torture chamber.
Are we going to go, ooh?
Ooh.
We're going to go, ooh.
Are we going to go, ooh?
Are we going to go, ooh? Torture chamber. I didn't poke
go to the torture chamber?
I'm going to poke my head on the way back out. I'm going to poke my head towards the torture chamber. Just have a quick look in there. What can I see? Because the doors are open.
Well, there's torture instruments. The walls are slightly splintered. There's a sort of spider web of cracks centered on the northwestern corner of the torture chamber.
That's where the
angel smashed its sword arms into the glass. But it's not broken, and I don't think there's any worm emission, any worm leak. But it looks pretty precarious. There are torture instruments. You're on the threshold?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Are you going in, or are you just looking from the threshold?
Looking from the threshold.
Okay, yeah. They look out of repair.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go and tell the others, and then I'm going to immediately fly back down to the top of the giant chamber, down the pit.
Wow. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What about the others, then? Everybody else, what do you want to do? Alessandra's winged her way back up to the surface, told you about her explorations, told you about what she's found, and then has winged away again, back down into the depths.
Shall we tackle the southern...
I thought you were shall we teleport back to Mars?
I did think about saying that, yeah. Shall we tackle the southern vestibule, for want of a better word?
Yeah.
The chamber past the doors that are closed?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, what are you doing?
The only problem with that is, of course, all of the other creatures are going to come flying back, aren't they? The angels will come flying back, the beetles will come scuttling in.
Yeah, that's why Dan is suggesting it, Lucas.
So are we doing a silence?
Well, I think we should wait until the creature turns up.
Why don't we try blocking some of the doors so they can't come through them?
How? What? Iron spikes or something?
We could stone shape the rock around them so they can't open. Depends which way they open, in or out, I suppose.
Yeah, can you do that?
According to our convention, doors open into the larger space. So all of the doors open into the Hall of Welcome.
Okay, so we just need to put something big and heavy in front of the doors and they can't open them. Apart from the guys that go ethereal, but we could block the bottom, yeah?
They don't go ethereal, they go, well...
Incorporeal.
Well, we start the beetles.
Well, the beetles and the guys at the bottom we could potentially...
No sign of the beetles, by the way. Interestingly.
And we don't know if they're in the room, of course, that's the problem.
Well, Allessandra didn't see them in the room, and Allessandra can't see them outside.
Well, two schools of thoughts. They might have gone down the thingy, they might be in the room, or the third thought might be they've burrowed into the ground and waiting to kind of burrow out again.
Yeah.
Or they split up in 1970,
Yeah.
right, went their own ways,
Yeah.
and pursued individual projects.
Yeah. Got married.
I think we have to say mixed success.
Well, are we going to go? Let's do the southern vestibule, shall we?
Yeah, I think we do the southern vestibule. Any objections?
Yeah, go for
I'm
it.
doing a death ward on myself before I do.
Oh, the problematic Death Ward spell.
The death
Okay.
ward, yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to do.
you do
that would
aid.
be good. And Longstrider.
Paul.
Yeah.
You're fluttering around at the base of the pit,
Mm-hmm.
looking down at this giant chamber. Every now and again, there is a sound. It feels like it's echoing through from somewhere else. As in, I could show you a bit of map.
Go on in.
Okay, and here, while we're discussing, I'm going to do aid on Allessandra, because I know she's got very few hit points now.
Thank you.
So you get 10 to your maximum. And
Thank you.
Parker, because he seems to
thank
take
you.
all the damage.
When you've got 60-foot dark vision, I don't think
Yes.
I'm going to overthink this. I'm going to be nice about your dark vision. I'm going to give you the general outline because I think you can see enough. The rest of you, I'm determined that you're not.
Going to metagame at all?
Metagaming.
No. Ooh. There we are. So I'm looking down on quite a big cavern, which has got some exits off it and some islands, like you say, surrounded by writhing green chaos worms.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got a general sense of that?
Yeah. It reminds me of
Let me
that
take you back.
that pit in the sewers during the games. Do you remember where we had the slow
yeah,
moving,
maybe a little bit. Yeah,
the slow moving jellies or whatever they were?
the ochre jellies.
Yeah,
that
that's
were on the
right.
walls. A little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit like that. Anyway, that's what you can see. Back to Graham. You were in the middle of something.
Graham did an aid.
I did an aid, yeah, on
Me
Parker
and
and
sorry,
Allessandra.
Allessandra, yeah.
You have to be able to see the people that you're casting it on.
Probably.
Oh,
In which case, no, Alessandra.
God damn it.
Okay.
You tried. It's fine.
I tried. I'll do...
It was-
can I see Burple?
This Lady Luck again. That's what it is.
It's kind of up to you. You're placing your minis on the map.
Okay,
There's no
I'll fly into a
activity.
position that I can see Burple and Parker.
It's only two people.
There's
And
two people
yourself.
plus myself, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, fine.
10 hit points, is it?
I'm blocking my ears, by the way.
With your
It's
earwax, earplugs.
Earplugs.
We're 100% not getting back into that, but
No,
fine.
it's
Okay.
earplugs.
Okay, so if you use earplugs, if there is a sonic effect, you get advantage on the saving throw. Everybody happy that that is the rule? Well, that is the rule.
Say that again?
Pardon? What next? Should we get into some kind of order? Why don't we go round the table as I'm looking at things? Let's start with the first person on my left. Parker, Lucas, what do you want to do? Lucas.
Well, I'm going to go up to the door, stand
Knock.
next to Buggy.
Hello?
Alessandra.
Room service.
Yeah, that's right. Be ready for when we open it.
Okay, moving round. Sessions Epa.
Yes. I'm next, am I?
You can just say you're holding and doing nothing, but I'm just trying to make sure everything
Is there any
gets
sounds of anything happening?
Nothing at all. The only sound, if you could hear anything, you might, contingent on a pretty spectacular roll, you might be able to hear Allessandra.
Okay, I'm going to mount the sweepstake and float up to the ceiling.
Damn, what's Burple doing?
I think I am going to just edge around to the sort of round the back of the pillar next to the door.
Putting the pillar between you and the door.
Mm-hmm.
Super brave.
Yeah, that's
keep
me.
going round. Paul, Alessandra.
Alessandra's going to ready an action to shoot an arrow at anything that she can see within range that comes out.
Got it. Uncle Buggy, standing in front of the southern doors, behind which may lurk the worm caller and the swords of Kios. What are you doing?
I think I've got to activate my flaming tongue.
Ew.
Flame
Flame
tongue.
tongue?
Big pardon.
Okay. I was going to say, it's like a...
Can I do all this before, this?
What?
Well, there's loads of things I need to buff up. Can I say I've done them? Otherwise, we're just going to...
Can you have said that you did them?
Yeah.
You never would have done that.
Yes.
Can you go back and retrospectively
Yes.
have done stuff that you didn't say
So
you were doing?
basically, I want to switch on my flame tongue, activate the boots, cast a spiritual weapon,
It's like the old days, isn't it?
It's
Oh, the old days.
retrospective time.
retrospective buffing.
And 100 buffs.
Move along, nothing to see
Yeah.
here.
The simple answer is no.
No.
Obviously, the simple answer is no.
Well, it's 3 rounds.
You did say you were doing the death ward right before.
Yeah.
That tells me you were thinking about the things that you wanted to have in place before you started, but you didn't actually then say the things that you wanted to do. So therefore, it's not like you didn't get the opportunity. So no.
Okay, well, we'll stand
there
outside.
We go.
All right, activate my flame tongue.
Activate your flame tongue. Parker, if it is the real Parker. What next?
Well, who's opening the door?
That's really where we're trying to get to with this.
Yeah, I know.
You are.
Right. I throw the door open.
Well, you have to pull the door open.
Pull the door. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so pull the door open.
It takes the entirety of your turn.
Interact with an object.
To do so.
Okay.
You need to use all of your might and power.
All right.
It's much more Raiders of the Lost Ark than opening a serving hatch.
Mind you, they seem to push them open pretty easily.
They moved of their own accord. Well, when you do so, Parker, you reveal the chamber within. Let me describe it to you. In about 20 minutes, and I find it in my... It's a long chamber. I don't know that I would describe it as long, would you? I would say wide. Anyway, it obviously served as a library, as dozens of bookshelves line the walls and stand back to back amid the chamber. Again, I don't know that we've really got that from the map, but hey. In addition to the surprisingly well-preserved tomes, 12 clear jars sit on various shelves, each filled with a thin grey liquid and containing a single writhing green worm. That is what you can see. There are no creatures in the chamber.
Anything that looks valuable?
There's the worms.
Mm-hmm.
There's books. I mean, you're standing in the doorway. I probably feel you need to get a little bit, a little bit closer. Some of those books look tolerably ancient. There's a desk just inside the door with a couple of books open on it, but you can't see from where you're standing, Sessions, being only 2'6" or whatever it is that you are.
I'm flying up at the ceiling as well, so probably...
Oh, you are? I'm very sorry. Well, you can see, I think, from that angle that there's one specific book open on the podium. Looks like it's some sort of schematic or diagram inscribed on it, but from where you are, Sessions, you can't make out the detail.
No pictures on the walls?
No. Good question, but no.
Should we nip in, grab it, and nip out, see whether that works?
What, flying or walking? Go on then.
Either.
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Okay, I'll fly in and have a look at the book.
Okay, shut the doors. Spotting shut.
There's a strange diagram of a rune-covered worm that seems to be embedded within a human head. The worm
head
seems to be... I mean, I will let you and our readers paint this picture within their minds because I'm not quite sure how this is meant to be communicated. The worm seems to be whispering words into the human's brain. Give me a
mind control
Arcana check.
An Arcana check?
Give me an Arcana check. Why don't you? Why on earth wouldn't you?
9.
I'm just checking with the conversion document for the DC of this.
But
I'm saying that's going to be a fail.
Okay.
Well, you can't see
I might have to remember to actually restore my intelligence.
Oh, yes. There was that. You're not really sure. You're looking at this picture. There's worms. There's a worm in a brain. The worm in the brain is talking to the interior of the brain. There are worms in jars in the room.
Should we take the books with us?
Again, if anybody was to be so bold as to venture in and actually touch anything.
Let's knock them into a bag and we'll take them with us.
Are you taking the book on the desk with you? The one that's open on the diagram?
Yes.
You have it. So you're flying
in. Put a bookmark in.
Marking the page that was open, you're closing the book, and you're flying back out again to where you were.
Yes.
The worms in the jars do nothing. They don't wiggle. They just lie there. I mean, they don't lie. They float.
Suspended,
precisely.
In liquid.
Thank you. Yes.
So we got a book with a picture.
I'm going to go up to the door and do detect magic in the room.
That's a good idea.
Right. Is it the whole thing with the first round is this, the second round is that? I can never remember.
That was the old...
It's much simpler now, I think.
I'll read the spell out. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic
within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
The worms are magical, I would say they have a necromantic aura.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't think there is anything that detects as magical in the chamber.
Okay.
Where are the bad guys gone?
Down.
Well, that's another question.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we're going down.
What next? Well, let's go round the...
Oh, yes.
You've got this book, only Sessions have studied it. You've got the pit.
I'll have a look at the book.
I'll show it to Burple, who I think hasn't lost his intelligence.
Arcana check.
Give me an Arcana check. What'd you get?
17.
It's not going to astonish you, but you feel that the diagram and the text that supports it seems to be concerning itself with the use of a specific kind of Chios worm that one might imbibe,
Right.
and that it might, if it was consumed, the diagram is showing that this worm would somehow impart knowledge, wisdom, something to its consumer.
Uh-huh.
Like a...
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll drink the worm then.
Which one?
Surely for the price of
I
Feel that there's maybe a way of...
I see.
Do you want to study the different worms?
Yes, let's do that.
Flavors of worm.
Studying the possible meal. I'm just having a quick...
I'm thinking you get extra
once
powers
over of the menu.
but at a cost.
May I see the specials board, please? Well, yes, sir. We've got... our chef's recommendation is the worm is very good today.
Extra intelligence with mind control.
Okay. Give me another Arcana check, please, as you start to research this information, as it were, with...
9.
Okay, the book itself is not telling you which kinds of worms do which kinds of things.
Ort dice?
But...
Yeah, okay. I will use an Ort dice. Odd choice, but yeah, so another go. 9, that's 11 plus...
Roll the D8.
13.
No, it's not 100% clear to you. There's
Rubbish.
something... I'll tell you what you can
Does the
determine.
aid help?
No. It's a hit point thing. And what you can determine is that the worms have different characteristics.
Yeah.
Each of the worms in the jars, even from the distance of the doors, you think that you can make out some kind of markings or something on the worms that distinguish one from the other. You think that the different kinds of worms maybe impart a different kind of benefit, knowledge, or wisdom to the consumer. That much you can determine, but you can't determine
Do they
what does
feel
what.
like they would be harmful if consumed?
Well, I mean, this is where really good Arcana checks would be.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
useful
Graham,
at this
what do
point.
you think? Do you think they might be...
Graham's got 4 intelligence.
Yeah, but...
I have 5 intelligence.
Sorry, there's me underplaying your intelligence by 25%.
Graham, why don't you try a restoration on yourself, and then I'll ask you the same question.
I could. Shall I? Actually, I should do that. Let's try the greater
restoration on yourself.
Yes.
You get your intelligence back.
Awesome.
There we go.
Well, I'll have to think about it. What did you get?
I got 13.
On your knowledge arcana?
Yeah.
13 was the highest you got, yeah.
I'm going to have a go, now that I've recovered my...
Study the book, study the worms. Is anybody
Yeah.
going into the room to properly study these worms, or are you just doing this all from the doorway?
I think study the book, have a quick look at the worms from just well, I've been inside the room, so I'll go inside the room and study the worms.
Let's have an Arcana check.
That's not very good, so I think I'm going to use my luck to try that again, yeah?
Do it. Can I assist?
Yes, I think you can assist. If you roll, I think the DC is 10, is that right?
Mm.
You make a DC 10 Arcana check, Burple. Ooh, getting
It's a 9.
So you're
It's
not
going
much
well.
use.
Yes.
But you're not a hindrance, an active hindrance. Let's have it. Sessions, it's time.
18.
There are 12 worms here. There are 3 each of worms that are capable of imparting some kind of benefit around either arcana, history, nature, or religion.
And does this seem like a short-term boost or a long-term?
Doesn't look like it's a short-term thing. But what I would say is that you feel that there is a risk involved with their consumption. It looks like that's the intention.
But they don't
it's difficult
work.
to appreciate the level of risk.
Mm-hmm.
but that there is a risk there. It might be more to do with the fortitude of the subject and their ability to handle the enhancement and the process. I think that's the best I can give you.
So they give you knowledge of history,
or
three of them do, you think, or nature, or religion.
Yeah,
3 of each. You're not quite sure what, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Tempted by Arcana.
What's your Constitution save like?
+4.
Yeah.
Yours?
+5.
So you'd probably get like +1 or something for each, won't you? Making your fortitude save.
Can you boost? Can we boost in any way? I have.
Bless would be an obvious one.
Yeah, but I have Bardic Inspiration, which gives you an extra inspiration dice, which you can add to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. This can be added after seeing the roll, but before knowing the outcome. It's an extra D10.
Nice. But what do we think? I mean, do we need to take them now?
That's a point.
I mean, why don't we scoop up all the worms? We can choose when to consume them.
Bag of holding.
Maybe we need the knowledge now. I don't know. It's difficult to know, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm feeling reckless today, even though my rolls have been awful. I just don't. I know. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like fuck it.
Fuck it. It's Monday. Fuck it.
How bad can it be?
I don't know, Graham.
Every time I do something like this, it's going to be it's a disaster. Do we have any idea what kind of save we're talking?
He said Constitution.
I've used my Ort dice. I'm going to not eat one today. I'm going to wait till the next session.
They're all ranged up on these jars. I mean, you've not even been near the jars. I mean, they're just sitting on these shelves on the far side of the room, I'm saying. So
we were debating whether we scoop them up and put them in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Anybody want to grab a jar?
Now that you say it like that.
I don't know. I don't know, Michael.
Examine the jars.
I don't know,
touching
Michael.
them, Mike.
I don't know.
Michael.
Dawn.
Michael, I don't know.
Dawn.
I don't know, Michael.
Do you think Paul and Johnny have curled up to sleep together?
What's the worst that can happen?
I'm completely awake.
What's going on?
They're considering these worms in jars, Johnny. The worms that go into your mind.
Yes, okay.
Anybody want to grab a worm? In the interest of moving the spotlight fairly around everyone, I should go back to Paul at a certain point. So, what do you want to do?
I'm maintaining my...
You've got a radiant action.
Wow.
You're hovering
Poised.
at the base of the pit.
Poised like a
You've just
tightly drawn...
gently breasted the base of the shaft. Yeah. And you're
Stop it.
poised. You're poised. Okay.
Ready to strike.
Yeah.
Has anybody
Okay,
been
well,
into
we'll
the
go back-
room?
We'll go back to the library team. Yeah.
Lean
Well,
on the
Sessions
floor.
has...
I mean, touch the floor.
Nobody's touched the floor. Sessions has flown in on the sweepstake, grabbed the book off the desk, flown back.
Should I put 1 foot in the room?
You must have Arcana.
Yeah, -2 at the moment.
Based on intelligence, yeah. It's up to you. Buggy, you want to...
I'll put
Step
1
into
foot
the
in the
room.
room. It's 1 step in the room.
Nothing happens. Step in, it's a completely normal room. Well, so far as you're aware.
All right, well, I'll go 5 foot into the room.
Yeah, nothing happens. You've got the desk on your left against the wall on your left inside the door. There are bookshelves back to back across the room. That doesn't seem to make much sense. And then there are a set of shelves on the far side of the room with these 12 jars on them.
Okay, rummage through the desk.
The desk is not very interesting. I mean, Sessions stole the book that was on the desk earlier. I say stole.
Let's...
Purloined.
Put all the other jars in
Purloined.
the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Can I do
You go
that?
and grab a jar.
So the jars have got worms in, different types of worms.
It looks like there are 4 different types of worms, 3 of each.
Well,
Based
why
upon
do
the
we,
little
why do
markings.
we want one?
We don't know,
Dunno.
but let's grab the jars so that we can...
Grab the
Pick
jars,
it.
stick them in the bag of holding.
The moment, Buggy, that you grab the very first jar that you reach for, all of you are seized by a vision. This includes Allessandra, who is momentarily transported to a viewpoint where she can see this chamber, this very chamber, which wavers and shimmers, and suddenly a human man appears at one of the desks nearby, at in fact the desk on the left of the doors that you took the book from. There's a strange, grey-skinned humanoid creature with 6 arms standing at his shoulder. The man is studying a collection of worn and pitted bronze discs or plates arrayed on the desk before him. Faint etchings adorn those plates, and it seems as if the alien figures and symbols writhe together at the behest of some sinister will. The grey creature points to one of the plates, and a look of sudden comprehension blooms on the man's face. The man, the creature, and the plates then fade away and are gone. And you're back in the room with your hand on this jar. It's just as it was. You can pick it up, put it in the bag of holding.
Okay, I'll put them all in the bag of holding. Very careful not to break them.
You got a bag full of worm jars, plus Wolverhampton and a grand piano. On we go.
Anybody else going to search the room or anything?
Should we search it? Why don't we search it?
Okay.
Suddenly emboldened by the fact that Buggy's been in nothing. Love it. There's nothing. Well, some of these books look like they're potentially a little useful.
Stick them in the bag of holding.
You think that if you were to amass the books in this chamber and you were to study them at some length whilst trying to puzzle your way through a challenge around history or nature or whatever, that the books might help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You might get advantage on the check with extended study.
So if we wanted to know about that red dragon flying away, for example.
Precisely. Hit the books, study them for a bit. You might find that you got advantage on the history check required to retrospectively have a think about who that dragon was. Exactly that. Yeah. Shouts Allessandra up the pit from where she is. Yes.
Very good.
That wasn't Allessandra talking, that was me.
Oh, as a sort of...
Just chipping in.
Yeah, Mount Olympus-like
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans god figure. Right, got it.
I'm pleased you described me in those terms, but thanks.
Well, I was thinking of the really big fat one that dies at the end, but yeah. On we go. What's next?
Alessandra's going to descend into the cabin.
Really?
Really? Okay, excellent. Well, you do. Shall we flip you onto another map?
Yeah, go on.
Dead, but not forgotten.
That's right, she's got a twin sister called Kwarteng. Equally as suicidal.
Kamikaze.
Yeah.
The worms are in constant motion, Allessandra.
Mm-hmm.
There are corridors that you can see. I mean, I can point them out to you, but there's an opening.
I can see them.
There's an opening to the northwest. There's one in the middle of the almost in the middle of the north wall. There's one in the southeastern corner, and there is an opening in the southern wall. The worms are moving up and down and into those corridors, so it doesn't look like their extent is limited by the chamber itself.
Mm-hmm. And you say the islands are, 15 foot above the ground? It varies?
It varies, yeah. But let's just say that there's a couple that are right up there, that perhaps rear 10 to 15 feet out of the worms.
Thrusting out of the worms?
Thrusting, but the smaller ones 5 feet. Okay. Nevertheless, the worms seem to be leaving those little areas alone, and you can see that there are clear areas where you feel you could successfully alight without attracting any worm tension.
Yeah, I'm not going to alight anywhere. I need to
pick a card. Any card.
Pick a direction, really. The obvious one is the one up north. Door to the north.
Up north.
As I get close to the worms, is there any reaction from them in any way?
No reaction, but give me another perception check.
That's a 19.
You've worked something out. That floor isn't solid, Allessandra. That's a sea of worms. The nauseating susurration of millions of slimy bodies sliming over each other. There's no floor. You think that it's a lake of worms.
Nice.
Those little islands really are islands. They aren't just rocks that are standing up, as it were, proud from the floor. It's an immense lake of green worms, and the surface is actually rippling, as in it's got its own surface dynamic. You've got the sense that there's depths beneath what you're looking at, and that perhaps there are larger shapes or masses within the writhing worms.
Nice. Swimming through the sea of worms.
Yeah, that's what you think as you drop a little. Again, I think we determined that it was a 60-foot drop, at least from the ceiling to the surface. It's not a floor.
Yeah, it's not something you want to...
No. What do you want to do?
Oh, the water's lovely. Oh, it's not cold once you get in.
Swim. No, it's not. It's.
No.
I personally think some people just, bit by bit, they tend to be eaten by the worms.
Just go straight in
very slowly. Right? Yes, straight in. Yeah.
Just go straight in. It's fine. You'll get over the shock.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of those very algae-covered pools, Paul, with a sort of slight surface ripple. But instead of it being algae, it's just countless millions of writhing worms.
I'm going to stay close to the ceiling and then, as I can, and then just make my way north towards that opening up north.
Okay, with your vision, nothing happens to you yet.
Then
I'm going to show you what you can see.
That opening up to north, is it a passageway or is it actually...
There's a chamber.
So how high is the ceiling?
The ceiling in this chamber is much lower.
So I've had to fly down.
You have to fly down. Don't worry, not so close to the worms as to be a problem. But I think that the ceiling is only about 12 feet.
Ooh.
Right. You're
Standard.
quite close to the surface of the worm pool.
Standard tall ceiling in a room, in a house.
Yes, it's a standard dungeon ceiling height. I mean, 12 foot is still quite substantial.
Yeah, it's an old kind of Victorian house ceiling height.
You can dress it up in whichever terms you like, but this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But yeah, there's an apron of ground, of corridor, that seems to have been eaten away or fallen away into this pool. And then you can go north into a chamber that's about 30 feet wide, east to west, and about 40 foot north to south, with doors or openings leading off to it to the west and east. So you're heading north, and then you've got a crossroads effectively, or you've got options.
Bit like a dungeon crawl. So
I would say exactly like.
I'm going to
fly up. Dark vision reveals that you can see probably 5 or 10 feet either way down those side passages.
Well, I'm going to...
Otherwise, the chamber is empty.
I'm going to fly up to, as we keep saying, abreast the east-west corridor so I can look either way.
Let's take your mini and let's put your mini in the chamber. Yeah. Up to about...
No.
Just level with the corridors?
No. She's just going to...
I understand.
Tuck herself around a corner. At a corner.
Okay.
Peek around the corners.
You're peeking round to your left. So you're peeking round to the west to see what you can see.
Yes.
Well, you're looking into another chamber. Far side of it, you can detect another opening going further on to another chamber yet further to the west. But the chamber you're looking into, the whole floor, Allessandra, is covered with perfectly preserved corpses.
Yeah.
That's an awful nightmare.
They're arrayed head to toe in neat rows. Thick dust obscures the walls and floors. It looks like this chamber has not been disturbed in ever such a long time, but no trace of decay touches the corpses.
There is a kind of a curse on this whole place, which is why the
massive
beholder
green stone blocks line the chamber. That is, they are inset into the walls of the chamber. Can't see all of the chamber, by the way.
No.
But you think that it extends further to the north than you can see. It opens out more. Blocks that are covered with ancient symbols resembling coiling worms. That's what you can see with your peek to the left. Do you want to peek to the right?
Yeah, I'll move to the other side and peek towards the east.
There's a corridor that way. It extends 20, 30 feet, something like that. And there's a set of heavy double doors at the end. Not the giant, ridiculous stone double doors. They look like heavy dungeon wooden doors with a turny latch handle. Composer of the Crossroads theme. Inset into them. That's what you can see. There's no noise, no sound, no nothing. Just, well, the only sound, of course, is the endless ripple of these worms in the pool behind you. I think that's enough for Allessandra. All a bit creepy, all a bit weird. Let's go back up to the top of the pit. What about Sessions Parker Burple buggy standing around looking at the doors of this library?
There's no sign of these disky things, is there, Mike? In the vision?
They're not on the desk now.
Are they visible anywhere in the room?
You can't see them, no. I should really get some checks off you. If you're reflecting or thinking about this vision.
It's too obscure.
I am.
No, the visions. The red dragon with a thing.
I've seen some. No, these things with 6 arms. I've seen them before. They were like, at least the last thing. It was something around. There was like 5, 6 hit dice. Challenge rating 5 or 6. It wasn't particularly scary, so I don't know if it's the same thing at all. But it was grey and it had 6 arms.
Well, if somebody gives me intelligence nature check.
Nature,
yeah.
I have it. I have proficiency in everything. 13.
13.
18.
Can't
Sessions.
quite identify the creature, but Sessions does know what the creature is.
It's
3.
3.
I've still got low
Another
intelligence. Has that gone up?
Fantastic.
All,
yeah.
No, that's just you.
Buggy tried to join in.
But
He just says exactly what Sessions says just an instant afterwards, trying to make it sound like he's confirming.
Does my intelligence come back, by the way?
No.
After a day?
No, we've established this.
Yeah.
You won't remember because you were asleep, but
Should
we
I be
established
worried?
that a long rest made no difference.
Yeah.
But that a greater restoration spell, Sessions cast greater restoration on himself, has restored his intelligence. So Buggy's down intelligence, and Parker is Parker is down
Charles,
intelligence.
you're a cleric.
Don't worry about us.
Do one on yourself. You're a cleric.
Don't worry about me.
Sessions,
No,
that
front line
creature
fighter.
is something called a spellweaver. You've heard of creatures called spellweavers.
Okay,
Sessions.
it's not
You
the
think
one I
that
thought it was.
they are some kind of weird race, maybe not even of this world, that are unusually proficient in the ways of magic, that are able to manipulate spells concurrently because of their multiple arms.
Ooh.
What am I saying?
This one you think, though, looks subject to unlife. It was grey, its skin was pulled over its frame. You think it was some kind of undead spellweaver. That's what your determination was. You all think that the chap looking at the plates, who seemed to be being coached or tutored by this spellweaver, was the same chap that you identified as Kios in the first vision that you saw when you first arrived.
Right. So that's Kios getting learning the way. So these spellweavers basically have come along and kind of corrupted him. What do we know about spellweavers then? We need to find out more about them.
We need to Google them.
Yeah, we need to Google
Well,
spellweavers.
You haven't got Google, but you have got library.
Yeah, let's go and... well, the thing is, this place isn't secure. What I was going to say is the problem is that we'll just forget, right, that we still have this to do. If we go down, do the rest of it, we'll just leave and then go, oh shit, we should have gone back to the library and done some research.
This place is far from secure.
Yeah.
I think it's too dangerous, and I want to bash something. Let's forget the library.
Well, this is
go
why
down into the cavern with the worms.
This is why I've thrown it back to you lot.
Well, why don't we do a little bit of searching, and we might draw something to us that
Yes, okay, let's do that.
Uncle Buggy can bash.
Yes.
Put them on guard at the door,
There's a lot of alien stuff going on here. There's a lot of otherworldly stuff going on. Lots of references to
Buggy,
things
why
not
don't
quite
you
from
go
this
and
planet.
investigate the north chamber while we investigate the library? We're close enough to come to your aid should you uncover something. Sandy's downstairs doing her searching. Just makes sense that we...
It's okay. I think I'm best placed to stand guard.
No, but they're open. You can sneak over. You're massively fast.
Yeah, you can crawl 35 feet.
Yeah.
I recall from not so long ago.
Go and check out the sickly green light that's coming from the north chamber while we check out the library. It's just, like dealing with a
Principal
child.
fighter when he's,
Is it?
when the clericing duty comes round.
I'm worried about you guys. You don't want to be caught without me being present, so I'll stick with you.
We're going to see if we can find a reference to these soul weavers.
Okay. To use the books,
Mm-hmm.
how much time are you prepared to invest in this research project? A cursory flick through, you don't think it's going to make any difference. You'll be making, effectively, unassisted rolls.
What sort of... Are we thinking like an hour?
You're thinking at least an hour.
At
Yes.
least an hour.
Yes.
I was thinking sort of 10 minutes while Sandy does her search and Buggy investigates the north chamber.
So we're not going to find out very much.
Well,
at this-
okay, let's try and remember. I know it won't happen, but let's try and remember that to come back here. I'm going to put Mike. I'm
Yes.
going to daub an X on the door as an
Right.
aide-memoire to remind us that when and if we come back up this hole, I'll see the X and go, oh yes, we need to go and have a look at that.
You know what's going to happen, though, don't you? We're going to be
Someone will
running
rub it
away. We're going to be
or we'll find another way out.
running away like crazy. I reckon you should spend the time now. I don't see why not.
Spend the time now?
Yeah, I reckon spend the time
I
now.
don't think the place is secure.
Doesn't matter. Place is never going to be secure. It's going to be secure or not. It could be really
we do
good
it?
information.
Yeah, okay.
I really do reckon there's an alien
I
thing
also
going on
think
here.
All right,
spend the
let's do
time
it.
now. And if something turns up, then we can bash them.
Yeah.
And Johnny be happy.
Okay.
I think this.
Why don't we tether
aliens?
Uncle Buggy in the middle of the room, daub him with blood and see what happens?
String him prone across the pit.
You mean the Jurassic Park goat?
Yeah, the goat.
Yeah, the guy.
What film's that?
Several.
Yeah.
Is that Jurassic Park or something?
That's what we just said. Yeah.
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 Yeah. The Jurassic Park goat.
Yeah. So we'll
The
do that.
tethered goat.
We're tethering Buggy to a pillar
Yes.
and making bleating noises.
Yeah, he's bleating.
I'll take my clothes off first.
Well, I mean, goat. Okay, otherwise, yeah, because goats don't wear clothes anyway, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I'm not doing that.
Why not?
Okay.
Weirdo.
Buggy don't want to do that.
Puggy's voice has gone odd there.
Order.
There we are.
Yeah.
Order.
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 Right, you spend a bit of time.
Mike, tonight's beer, by the way, is Up Dog by Phantom Brew. Up Dog. 6.6% IPA. It's actually very nice.
I'm not falling for that one.
6.6.
Yes, they do strong ones, but I've only got the one.
Uh-huh.
It's quite nice, though.
Let me roll the d6. You're prepared to invest time, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Couple of hours in, you find something useful. You can roll a group check at advantage. If 50% or more of you succeed in hitting the DC, rolling at advantage, then I can tell you a little bit more about Spellweavers. How does that sound?
It sounds great. What's the
What check are we making?
You're making a knowledge. I'm just checking.
That sounds great. Lovely.
You're making
Let's
a
do
knowledge nature check.
Oh my
At
God.
advantage.
At advantage. 20
At advantage, yes.
or 22.
Bloody hell. 19 or
Okay.
No idea.
2.
Yeah, well,
So I'll take the 19.
So we've got a 22, we've got a 19,
Take a 16 from Bugs.
you've got a 16. That's it. You've done 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 it.
Okay.
What a remarkable set of rolls. We've got an 18 from Parker.
I don't know anything about Spellweavers now. I'm going to have to fucking look them up.
Oh, fuck
I
off.
was hoping you would get bored and move on like you always do. Now I
And then
have to
forget.
know things. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Okay, Spellweavers.
I mean, you put your faith in the Dungeon Master, don't you? To have done a bit of...
Well, normally, except when it's Mike, obviously. Then you,
Yeah,
then you
except
go,
when it's me.
shit.
Just direct
Well,
your
just-
attention to our most recent review.
We had a review.
Oh, did we? Oh, I hardly noticed. I can't hardly remember. I don't know that I read it more than about 30 times.
Why? What did it say?
No, nothing.
I'm going to have a look for it now.
Where was this on Twitter?
No, it was
That'll be on the
no.
podcast, Apple Podcast, which is the
Apple,
most...
what's it? Oh, fuck, I can't find this. There's a whole bit at the beginning about bloody spell what's it.
Here we go.
I don't bloody know where it is.
One of the best, it is titled. I really shouldn't like
Yeah.
this
One of.
overcomplicated... Yeah, one of the best. I really shouldn't like this. What overcomplicated 5e rules. Lots of maxing out character abilities, throwing a bit of metagaming every now and then. Not what an OSR grog like me is supposed to like. But the interaction between the players and DM is brilliant and is exactly what a D&D game is all about for me. Very British, well, English really, in terms of the humour and banter. Joshing stick between them all, but highly entertaining. A top-class demonstration of the art of DMing too.
Oh, no.
No wonder he's been listening to that,
Spoiled.
reading that
Oh.
time and again.
Oh, I didn't read all the way through. I didn't read that bit. Sorry, I wasn't.
Mike, I'm surprised you had time to write that one.
Didn't even notice. Didn't even notice.
With all your DMing, I'm surprised you had time.
I don't think there is actually much more information. I found the bit, and it's basically the same as what I just told you before.
Right.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, perhaps you can give us some
They
of their
are
typical names.
interdimensional beings that have travelled.
Interdimensional.
Yeah,
There
your
you
understanding is that they've travelled to Hearth from another world basically what I told you. They're masters of arcane lore, and that their multi-armed nature means that they can sustain, concentrate, and cast.
Yeah, but do we know anything about their
time?
How they might relate to Kios?
Their culture.
Yes, and straying more into the areas of history, but let's not worry about that. One of you does find a reference, something that seems to indicate that Kios, as in Kios the man, before Kios ascended to whatever state that Kios ascended to,
Delaware,
believed that spellweavers may have held the secret to the prophecy of the Age of Worms. He understood that this concept of the Age of Worms, and that there was going to be this age of writhing darkness, and that some kind of leader may ascend to godhood and precipitate this Age of Worms. His understanding was, this is you reading the stuff in the library, his understanding was that this strange race of spellweavers may hold the key to that lore, and he was obsessed with finding them.
Well, his understanding is continually far better than mine. Still don't get it, but there we are.
There you are.
Here you see.
The bringing about the Age of Worms.
Well, more about understanding the lore about the age, LORE, about the Age of Worms, was in the possession maybe of these spellweaver creatures.
Okay.
Is it possible that he founded a civilization, or he founded a stronghold out in the jungle just to find these creatures? That might be the inference from what you're reading.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, should we go down into the chamber below?
Sandy, by the way, what have you been doing while they've been doing this? That's like an hour, 2 hours it took them. Did you come back up? Are you been hanging around down there?
I think I've been hanging around down there.
Can you give me a perception check?
17.
There may have been, at some point during your wait for the others, there was not really much that you could do to follow up on it. A sound that you pick up from behind you, basically. If you're watching this door, waiting for the others, wondering what to do next, a sound you pick up behind you, or something that catches your attention behind you, maybe in the corner of your eye, quickly turn, and you thought you could see a figure, a creature, but it was like stuttering in and out of reality. Out in the darkness beyond your dark vision. Off to the west, off past where all the bodies are lined up, past the opening into whatever chamber lies beyond. It was like a figment. It was like a projection. It didn't look real. It looked like it was flickering in and out of reality. But then nothing else happens. So we can now concentrate on the others.
Is there a ladder down there or anything?
No, it's 60 foot. It narrows down to about an 8-foot aperture in the ceiling of the giant chamber below.
If everyone gets in the bag of holding, I'll fly them down.
Yeah.
Well, I can fly with my swords.
Yeah, there you go. So can I.
You can fly with my swords?
I mean, I can presumably walk down.
Yeah,
one of us
down
can
the
carry
walls.
you down.
What about
Can I just jump on the sweepstake then?
Yeah, I'll take
Are we not
going to
look at the torture
and then
chamber
I'll come back and
before
take.
we go down?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought we were going
Well,
down.
I'm just suggesting an alternative potential course of action, just to confuse matters, as is my wont. Is that a no? Is no one interested in this? Okay, we'll have a quick shifty, Mike.
What do you mean by shifty?
Go and peer through the door.
Peering through the door shows you that the cracks that were left by one of those weird corrupted angels in the northwestern corner, they've spied it out through the glass, but the glass is holding, and these thousands of wiggly bioluminescent worms are pressed up against the glass in a very unsettling way, but they're still held back by the glass. So that's what you can see from the doorway.
Why is it unsettling? If we're outside the room, just sort of clarify for me.
Well, because you feel that it's the glass is the only thing sitting.
Yeah, but then they're
going
to flop out onto the floor, right?
You can kind of sense the pressure of the sheer quantity of worms against that glass.
Yeah, so then we shut the door.
Sure. Then you needn't be unsettled.
I'm just trying to...
I'm sure, Dan, you're right. No, I'm sure you're right, and I'm sure that everything is absolutely fine.
I hate it when you do that.
I feel like...
No baddies. No baddies.
None that you can see from where you're...
the baddies gone?
No, nothing you can see from
sounds
there.
Sounds like a 1960s hippie song.
Hiding behind a pillar near the room doesn't reveal any baddies.
Where have all the
Purple
baddies
standing
gone?
in the doorway.
Actually, I might do a song. I might actually record Where Have All the Baddies Gone?
Okay.
I'm not sure I can.
That's good.
Okay, grind the doors close.
Yep. Okay.
And then go and join the others, and we'll fly down.
All together? In one go?
I think
Yeah.
I'm going to place you above the center of the chamber of the Sea of Worms. Let's just establish a couple of things. You emerge at the base of the pit. You're 60 feet up above this writhing carpet of worms. Whether or not it's like full worm all the way down, or there is liquid underneath the worms, difficult to say. One thing you definitely get the sense of is that there is something, maybe some things of greater mass moving around within the worm pool. The corridors that lead off, their ceiling height is only 12 foot. You're 60 foot up. So you can't see much more than the first 5 or 6 feet of these openings. You'd have to descend either closer to the worms. You could stay close to the ceiling. Ceiling is domed, cavernous. So you could stick close to the ceiling, work your way down in a parabola to the exit. I think Sandy did tell you when she went on a bit of a research mission that there was an opening to the north. Whether or not you know that's where she's gone, I don't think we're going to get into it.
Yes.
I don't want to get...
I'm leaving you hovering at the apex of the ceiling. I don't want to commit you.
Okay, which way should we go, Uncle Buggy?
Let's head towards...
Parker, can you walk upside down
Allessandra.
on roofs?
We don't know where she is.
No, north. That's obvious.
No, I don't.
Oh, no, there's a place.
I don't think you can. I think you
There
can...
are 4 into
I
one.
don't think I specifically
Right, so
can, no. But
Okay.
I
So
thought
you're
that,
at the exit. No,
being
so,
carried.
well, you could be carried.
You're steering the sweepstake. Maybe you can do a chance roll.
Okay.
Lady Luck.
We're going this way.
So Uncle
Getting to
Buggy
the southeast corridor.
and Sessions are... And are you sticking close to the ceiling and following it
Yeah.
down, staying as far away from the worms as possible? Okay. Well, it's not long before you are in a position to see that opens up. The ceiling is 12 foot. Again, you're tiny little creatures, aren't you? So you can kind of be almost 12 feet off the worm carpet and able to see that it opens out into a corridor with heavy but standard wooden double doors at the end of it.
Shall I drop you off there and go and get Parker?
You drop Buggy on into the thing.
I'll have a listen at the door
Okay, and then I'll fly back up and collect
Perception
Parker.
check.
and get 11.
Lucas, how much does Parker weigh?
good question.
There's no sound on the other side of the doors.
Okay, well, I'll wait till Parker
Sessions
gets
is
here.
ferrying Parker as well.
Yep.
It's just got to step away a minute. Hold on.
Has Lucas gone to weigh Parker or something?
Yeah.
Parker's real, right? Lives in Lucas's house.
Let him out of the cellar for a minute.
He checks in between sessions to find out what Parker wants to do next.
Okay,
That's
well,
the real Parker, right? That's the real Parker.
Very good. Right, I'll try and open the door. Does it look locked?
Purple, you're still flying up near the opening of the shaft.
Oh, I'm still flying up high
Trying
as
to work out
well.
what to do.
Really,
Oh,
we
wow.
need the primary...
Alessandra,
Right.
you can hear the
Probe.
others arrive, probably arguing. What do you want to do? I'm going to give you a round to react to their arrival.
I think what I'll do is I'll head up to this set of double doors to the east and do a listen. Can I have do a perception check
first-
to listen?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Do a list.
Remember that I'm flying.
Do a listen.
18 when I do a listen.
You can hear something. You can hear the gentle trickle of water. To put it in 21st century terms, if you put your ear up, and I know you do this a lot, Paul, you put your ear up against a bathroom door
Not all the
to
time.
hear what was going on inside, and a
Yeah.
tap was running gently into the sink on the other side of the bathroom door, it's that sort of level of water trickle.
Okay.
The other thing, though, you can, as soon as you get that close to the door, there's some strange stuff going on. First thing is, you start to feel very thirsty.
Ooh.
Second thing is, you can feel a sense of yourself on the other side of that door, Alessandra.
That's a bit scary.
And that's probably where the angel with your
Yeah.
worms is.
I mean, obviously that wouldn't occur to you, Alessandra, and
No, I realise that all on my very own, obviously.
Sorry,
that would be
I'm back.
metagaming, and obviously none of us would want to get into that,
No.
despite that review. We could go back over that review again if you wanted, just to double check some of the details of it, but I think you
Yes.
mentioned metagaming. Purple, you're
I'm just
doing what?
flying slightly south.
I just got the sense that Buggy and Parker are about to do something, door opening. So I just want to make sure everybody knows where
I'm
everybody
moving
is.
slightly south so that I'm over that particular bit of rock should dispel magic go off or something like that. And
got it.
But also where I can see them fiddling with the door.
How good do these avatars look, by the way? I think we're going to have to do a bit of a screen grab at some point for our readers to see how well they really do look fantastic.
Yes,
right. Well, okay, let's do it then. Buggy Parker, the night is pushing on.
I'm opening the door.
You're opening the doors. Quietly,
yes.
There's a Tony latch handle. You can push, the doors swing.
Stealth.
Yeah, give me a stealth check.
5.
5.
Hello?
Okay. Yes, the Crossroads theme music starts playing as you open the door. Ding, 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 ding. What you reveal is a chambre. Let me describe the chamber to you. This room seems out of place, Buggy, given the cold and barren decor of the other chambers in the complex. I don't know that that's accurate but it just doesn't seem like it fits. The floor, for example, is covered with a thick green carpet. Green, that's a reassuring colour for a carpet, isn't it? And a long padded divan sits in the room's centre. Small padded stools, as in furniture,
green stool,
not what you're thinking, surround the divan. The walls are carved with nightmarish scenes of a dual world. The lower half of these carvings depict a world of caverns and twisting tunnels that are infested with massive worms, creatures that look like humans posing as worms, and creatures more horrifying than either. On the upper half, these worm monsters burst from the ground to ravage and ruin numerous humanoid civilizations. Dragons with their heads of worms, this is very wormy this, isn't it? Dragons with their heads of worms fly in the skies above, and towering over them all is an immense figure dressed in plate armour and wielding a strange pole arm that combines the features of a pick, an axe, and a mace. The man's face is hidden by the hood of his dark grey robe, but worms drip from under his cowl.
Right.
And there are
Bucky's
3 doors,
dead.
one to the north, one to the south, one to west.
No hostiles?
Nothing obvious.
I will step into the room prodding the ground.
The moment you step
prodding the ground
into the room, the 3 doors open. And standing behind them are 3 figures. They are obviously 3 brothers, colleagues, 3 comrades of the Chios Knight that you fought in the upper chamber. Each of them is clad in heavy plate mail armour. Each of them holds a wicked, lethal-looking longsword, and each of them has, instead of eyes set into the sockets,
Run away.
twin wiggly mouths of giant
these
green worms.
Not 6 intelligence.
And they step forward towards you, and we will find out.
Oh, well, that's the end of Buggy. So,
maybe they'll be welcoming. Maybe they'll be...
Maybe they don't attack.
Maybe they won't attack.
I have the rest of my go.
When we pick things up next week.
Rest of my go.
Next week.
We'll have it next week.
Run away.
Run away.
Oh dear.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Spire of Long Shadows and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Spire of Long Shadows was written by Jesse Decker. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening!